And she seems to like not be already, like her demeanor is different.
And she's eating.
And I did go ahead and put molasses on her food.
Look at how many are there.
Oh, that's cool. Do we have any ready?
I just picked some.
Okay.
3 were ready. That one is like the biggest bush.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. No, the mole won't eat the carrots. The mole's eating the grubs, but it makes holes for the voles. Yeah, just if you see mole trails, just push it down. So hopefully the voles don't get out, and then and our cat does what he's supposed to do and takes care of the vole problem. All right, if you look, you can see little trails. It's really hard to see, but you can see where the soil's been disturbed, and then there's like this little trail going along, and that means that a mole has gotten up underneath our beds, and it probably came out right here. Moles themselves I don't care about. They aerate your soil, which is great. However, the trails make way for voles, and voles like to eat your food. So this morning, I'm going to give you a very quick, as much as possible, garden tour. This is my winter garden. I'm hoping to have things producing for quite a while. I planted a bunch of leafy greens. I direct sowed a lot of seeds in September, and I was super excited because this time I was actually on time. And about a week or so, and I had a lot of things germinating, and I was doing some succession planting for the things that I wanted to plant, and I was very excited because things were germinating and coming up, and I'm like, they're going to be nice and great before the first frost. And everything I planted is frost hardy, but you don't want it super tiny and tender when you get your first frost. So very excited because for once I was on time. And my chickens got out because of my dogs. My dogs have been my biggest pest in my garden this year. They've eaten my tomatoes, my cucumbers, and that's been very frustrating. And then with the expanded chicken run that we did this year, they kept busting through the metal and let it so that they could go eat the chicken feed. and they let all my chickens out one day, and my chickens pretty much destroyed most all of my garden. It's really frustrating because I don't have tons of energy right now, and so it took a lot for me to plant everything. And I did overseed everything, and that I thought was out of kind of laziness, and like, I can thin this out later. I can put things where it didn't germinate, and also having experience growing microgreens, I also know that at that point those are really healthy for you, so you can pull your thinnings out and eat them. You don't have to just toss them away. And so, because all of this stuff is edible as a baby green or microgreen, so I did that intentionally. And so in hindsight, it was probably one of the wisest things I did, because when I came out to inspect my garden, the chickens did destroy a fair amount of it. So there may be some things that are planted that I did not put in that spot because of the digging and everything. And then out of this, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds that I planted, they really only destroyed 1. So in the end, it wasn't that big a deal. What I have coming up right here is a bunch of leafy greens. I wrote everything down so I know what everything is. But I have, this is a red mustard here. This is a mustard type spinach that I got from Baker Creek that is planted there. This here, I can't remember what I planted here. It's either a romaine, which obviously it's gonna have to be thinned. You can tell. I mean, you can see how things are coming up. That's gonna be, and then I have collards right there. And in this area, I have parsnips. This is what the parsnip tops look like. So pretty cool, huh? And so they did get in here, so none of my parsnips are coming up in rows. And then they got here. Actually, I think that's where we spelt our leaf lettuce seeds. I think that's what. So those are all, they all sprouted. So actually, this is probably leaf lettuce then, right there, and not collards. So leaf lettuce, mustards, and then maybe that's collards in the back. But you can see, like, the parsnips are like all over the place. So they definitely got to that. Then I have carrots coming up right here. I have 4 rows of carrots. I have 2 dark purple varieties and 2
lighter varieties.
Yeah, orange varieties. But you can see, like, the chickens totally messed up my parsnips and scratched them all over the place. So they're coming up in different places. You can see that mole. That mole came up over here too.
Okay.
So this is the bed that they really messed up. The chickens had access to. So, but you can see along the trellis, I have sugar snap peas growing there. So that's good. And then right here, so everything here, I'm really praying that we have a later frost so that I can get this stuff germinated. You could see some kale coming in right here. This is kale. I have kale. I have a, oh, look, they moved a pea. So yeah, this is kale. I have a dwarf kale, a Russian kale, and a couple, something else.
Some other plants that are green.
Yeah, some other plants that are green. I also planted a bunch of radishes that got moved around. You can see that. That's okay, because these are super tasty.
You planted spinach.
Yeah, the spinach is over there in that bed. So this is the bed that I had to completely replant. Wasn't happy about it, but in the end, it wasn't that big a deal. So yeah, so those are beets. I'm not a huge fan of beets themselves, but I do love beet greens. So some of these will be greens, and then some of these I'll let actually grow into actual beets. And then what did I plant here? I don't have my list with me, so I'm trying to go off memory. Okay, kohlrabi, beets, I can't remember. Since I'm having trouble remembering exactly where I planted everything. Thank you.
And these are the same?
Mm-hmm.
Well, some of them are white and some of them are pink.
Yeah. My kids have been obviously with me for so long that they now pretty much know what I'm asking or saying without me having to relay that information. Our echinacea is still in full bloom. You can plant things that will stay blossoming through a lot of the fall, like echinacea and sunflowers and things like that. It's really good for your pollinators. If you want bees and butterflies in your yard, plant things for them to eat. Early fall, you have the migration of the monarch butterflies. They need food to fuel up. And then bees, before they go into hibernation, need food. So plant things that will keep. We have a few flowers in our yard. We get a lot of bees every year. Our bees increase on a yearly basis. I want to keep them around. Thank you.
Renee.
Okay, so that doesn't sound right. That doesn't even look like kale or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Ella brought my list out. So it goes like this when it comes to my yard. You can see. So this is the bed that got messed up. It has a lot of leafy greens in it and radishes. And so only time will tell if that actually will do something for me. So over here, then I have 2 rows of romaine right here. And then I have 2 rows of kale, so dwarf kale, red Russian kale. And then beets, then pak choi, well, Shanghai greens, which is also called pak choi. And then I have my 4 rows of kohlrabi. And you can tell how much I have just sprinkled seeds down. And while you might consider it wasteful, this year it was wise of me to do that. And then this bed over here, I have some green onions growing. I had some celery growing, but my dogs came over and ate it. This right here is spinach. It's super fast and very prolific. You could tell that the rows got messed up here. There's a little dip from where the chickens got in here, and they scattered just a few seeds, but that's okay because I can transplant this stuff. To me, this doesn't look like a spinach leaf, but then I haven't grown that variety of spinach before, but that's spinach. And then I have next to it, I have cilantro right there. Cilantro and dill, like the cool seasons, it might get a little bit too cold, but I should be able to harvest and dry on those 2 things before it gets really, really cold. And then what did I plant in between? Did I plant anything in between? Parsnips. So the chickens got in this bed too, and it looks like they ate most of the parsnips because they're not growing except for that one. So from the other bed, I'll probably come in and plant 2 rows of parsnips. And then I have some carrots that are starting to come up. These carrots kind of got demolished as well, so there's a little late. And you can see my okra's still doing stuff. We still have blossoms. It is still growing. Some of this has gone to seed. Here you can see these. This is cardboardy, so these are ready to cut off to save as seeds. This will get cut down and gone into the compost at some point in time, or the chicken run, and the chickens can have at it. And then I went in and I pruned all of my fruit trees. And what I did with my fruit trees is I just took my loppers and I cut them to where I can reach on my trees, because I don't want them to get too big. I want the fruit to stay down low to where we can pull it. And then I have lima beans growing here. They're all over. They're pretty much ready to harvest. And what I learned is lima beans set their fruit all at one time. So we're going in and yeah, so let's see, can you see through that? Let's see if I can do that way and see if we can see it that way. So you can see those are pretty much ready and I can pick those and we can shell them. You do not want them to get really woody or to the vine itself or bush to stop growing or go to seed, so to speak, because the lima beans are then pretty tough. You can see my cucumbers started growing and I'm going to take that out because the dogs keep eating them.
Hey, Mommy, I harvested more beans.
More beans or bean seeds?
Bean seeds.
Awesome. So we have actually 3 trellises of beans growing. These are the beans we're still harvesting from, and I am canning them as we pick them. I need to can some today, but this has been really fun to grow. And so as you can see, everything's still it's still growing, it's still producing. So I should have a fair amount of beans to put up this year. And then the trellis that we planted early summer is dying back. You can see that. And we have been collecting the stuff that's gone to seed on that. So we have a fair amount of seed. Yeah, so Ella's bringing it. So you can see that. There's like 250 something over there.
Oh no, there's more now.
Well, I know that, but like and I said over. So that's awesome. Our Swiss chard's coming along nicely. I planted more seeds and they're germinating. So this is one of my favorites to eat and it's really good right now. It's very sweet. Other things that we have in our fall garden that won't be here for too terribly much longer are chickens. So they're 4 weeks old right now. They're full. They have almost all their feathers that they're going to get. They'll get some more on their heads. And then in about 4 more weeks, they're ready to go to freezer camp. Oh. I can get it.
First done. She's like, I don't like the camera.
Can I close this? Yeah. Don't smush them in your jacket.
I'll try not.
Any chicken person knows that this is risky, putting eggs in your pockets.
Done for a while. That's cool.
How many eggs did you get?
This morning.
5 eggs this morning?
Yeah, these are all from this morning.
Well, yeah, because you brought eggs in last night. So how many duck eggs?
2.
2 duck eggs, a
Plus
bantam.
And
One.
then that really big round layer, which is Frankie.
That's Frankie.
This is a Frankie egg.
And who's that? Do you know?
And that
It's hard to tell.
one of the Australorps.
Okay.
One of them does the little white spots on it.
Oh, cool. So for fall, that's pretty much our garden tour. The beans will come down here probably in a couple of weeks. And then the okra, not in a rush to take it down. We are going to start some seeds in the greenhouse and kind of see how those do and plant a few things in the greenhouse and kind of compare the growing in the greenhouse over winter to growing in the yard over winter. So that will be coming up here soon-ish when I have a little bit more energy. And but yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see what survives the chicken destruction and what actually comes up. I'm still praying that we only have like I can get at least 2 more weeks before we get a frost, so that way I can see what all comes up. This is the most successful that I have been at a fall winter garden so far. So we'll see how that goes along the season. I know. My biggest garden pest right here. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Alright, so I ended this video and didn't realize that I still had stuff growing in the yard. I actually did realize it and just kind of forgot about it. But what we do have growing in the yard that will keep growing is we have green onions. And these guys we planted not from seed, but from the stuff that we bought at the grocery store. Chopped it off, put it down here, and grew. These are growing nicely right along here. Let's try to get better. There we go. And then I still have them. Please ignore my weeds. Our parsley, we harvested a lot of it, and I'm super excited to have that because that smells really good. That lemon balm is still going strong. That stuff is going to come back year after year. Our basil is pretty much done for the year back there. We've got a fair amount of that, and then our pineapple sage is doing really, really nice. I want to harvest more of this for teas. You see that's a pretty flower from the pineapple sage. My daughter's trying to figure out how to harvest the seeds from that. She wants to keep growing it. Well, that's the end of my garden tour for the day. I think I'm going to do these on a weekly basis so that way we can watch what grows successfully here in the wintertime from what I've planted, and you all can see how it changes throughout the season. And that'll be fun for me to look back on too and see what's growing nicely. And then also we can watch my hair grow. I have 2 more chemo treatments left. And after that, my hair should be growing. So on a weekly basis, you should get to see my hair. It's currently coming in very white right here. And then it's very dark right back here. So only time will tell if it stays white or if it goes back dark. We'll see. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Esther's like, where's the pan of food?